Hello there, my name is Shubhendra and today I'll be presenting my project, which is the robotic cat for a companion, presented by me, Shubhendra and Lucky Subramaniam. So moving on. So the project details, so basically it is a robotic cat. It is a quadruped with 4 limbs, each of them with 3 degrees of motion. So it's total 12 degree of motion body. Head is also a 3-axis head for gimbal-like structure, and the tail is also a flexible and motor-driven tail, which is used for several functions. So this robot has an application interface in which there's a dedicated Android application where it can read the important values of the robot, such as the battery health and the current location. So one of the purposes of this project is to create the robot which can produce cat-like behavior, or say cat-like features such as meowing or purring or coming up to the owner and such. So moving onwards, we have the pictures of the robot prototype. So as you can see here, we have the whole body. We have the head, which is connected to a Raspberry Pi camera. So the system's intelligent system for image processing and face recognition feature is run using a Raspberry Pi 4, and the motor functions is connected to an Arduino system which runs them in a serial interface with the Raspberry Pi, and the IoT capable functions of the battery health and GPS are connected to a Node MCU ESP32 controller board. So total there are 16 motors used. For 12 of them are standard size ones. 2 of them are 360 microservos as seen in the tail segment, and 4 of them are used for the head. So we have for the 3-axis neck and the mouth of the system, and our eyes to also represent the current state of the robot. So moving on, we have the Android application user interface. We have a login page, so you can log in for existing users. We have the registration page where you can create a new account, and upon registering for the first time, you can add your cat name, so to add a sense of personalization. And lastly, we have the main page, which is the display page, where the person can track the pet using the GPS module placed in the robot cat. So you can get lifetime view of the coordinates through Google Maps through the button click. And we also have the refresh button to refresh on the battery health percentage and calculated time remaining. Moving on, we'll talk about the novelty and inventiveness of the system. So this system is inspired by Boston Dynamics robot Spot and Festo's animal-like robotics, which is used to solve certain problems. So one of the inventiveness aspect of this system is it has face detection and recognition, in which it can detect the face and also recognize if the individual is the owner or a stranger or someone it should not associate with. So based on the input, which is the faces being fed to the system, it will react differently, such as if it notices someone that is not supposed to be associated with or someone dangerous, it will make a loud noise and then try to escape or not interact with it. So by doing so, it's able to replicate a cat's actual emotional behavior, such as like how a cat would react when it sees someone it knows or someone it doesn't know. And also it also has a bit of personalization to it, in which you can name it or you can set certain commands for it and such. Moving on, we have the usefulness of this system. So this system is useful in which it has an actual pet. It's a stress reliever, because studies have shown how keeping a pet is actually good for your health and can help you live longer. It's also lesser maintenance compared to a living being, in which where you don't have to feed it, you don't have to bathe it, you don't have to give it medicine or such. You just have to charge it, and it's a plug and play system. It's also more cost effective compared to the monthly expenses spent on taking care of a real pet and the hassles that come with it. So this system is much more effective. Then moving on, we have the industrial application. So one of the main applications of this system is it can be a security pod. So similar to how Boston Dynamics Spot quadruped robot, it can also be used to monitor, like say, the factory sites and all. It can walk around the factory sites and monitor for anything that's happening. By in the future, if this project is applied, then they can add their own form of more advanced image processing and better APIs, so it can better detect the surroundings and such. Besides that, it can also be used as a baby monitor. So say instead of having just a camera at home, you have a robot cat that can move around and interact with the baby at home and such. It's also for research and exploration purposes, so you can this exports dynamic robot. It can also be used for such purposes and help keep people safe. So now we go to the sustainable development. So because the system is 3D printed, so the parts are recyclable and actually repairable. So you can just download the parts online, 3D print it yourself, and work on it. And beside that, if you want, you can also upgrade it, and the materials used are safe and non-toxic. So next we have the commercial potential. So one of the potential is that it's easily repairability and customization, so you can work on it to your own fitting, and also it's a build yourself kit. So like it can be used as an educational tool, which can be helpful in the education market for both young in like secondary schools or even in higher educational institutes for more advanced options based accordingly. So now we will show a short video on the demonstration. And that was all. Thank you very much for your time, and that's it.